you're doing okay today. Thanks for joining for this live stream. We're going to just jump in here. This is just a simple UI build, but figured I'm actually taking today off work, so I would do something small here and then take some time off after that. So hopefully you're up for something like that today. But excited to be able to get back into just coding some. Yeah, hope you're doing okay today. Let me know if volume of everything is okay. I think last time the music ended up being a little too loud after the fact, so it'd be great to make sure I dial that in this time. Yeah. All right, well, I think we'll go ahead and get started here. I suppose I should at least say hi. Hi. We're going to jump into this project. I've put the link in the description below, but this comes from WebDev Daily. And I've connected with him a little bit online. These are live and recorded live. So I think he gave me a pro account or something. So I'm not sure if this is behind a paywall or not. But it's a simple enough design, and thought it might be fun to kind of do together. I might make some changes because there's some things about it that I can't handle emotionally. So we figure that out together. But let me go ahead and switch over here. All right, hopefully you can see where my head is. I think I'm okay. All right. So we've got this Figma design. This is what I have so far. And you see we've got this image here. And this is the part that I'm going to just have to change. I can't have these things be like floating towards the top. Same thing here. This isn't like quite centered. But this is just a basic UI design. So that's what we're going to do. And we can use anything we want. I mean, it could just be standard HTML. So maybe we should do that since it's kind of a simple design. I'll treat this as like a very beginner introduction to adding HTML and CSS and kind of building out a little mini system as we go. So we'll call this like product information UI or something like that. So let me go ahead and create a new project. So I'm just going to, we'll just call this WebDev Daily product UI. I don't know. That's fine. Product UI page. How about that? Okay, so we'll come inside here, and then let's touch an HTML or index dot. I think this is it. HTML, CSS, and we'll add JS. I think I did that right. I guess we'll see. And then let me get this open in VS Code. Okay. That worked. Okay, so we got all that. Let's build out the basic of this, and then we'll get some kind of server up and running. And we could use Vite, or I guess just the built-in VS Code one, or the extension here if we want to as well. So we'll do product UI design, and then I should probably get up. Let me pull up Chrome over here and make sure I have this ready to go. Again, let me know if there's any issues with audio and stuff, but we're just going to build out this basic UI using probably standard CSS and kind of go from there. So 5500, let's pull this up over here, and hopefully you're seeing everything okay. All right, let's go ahead and get something up. So we'll say hi, and then let's pull this up right here. I might pull it up in the wrong browser, so we'll have to see. Yeah, okay. All right, let's come here. We've got this here. Yeah, okay, that works. Okay, so let's move that over. Move this over as well. We'll shut this down, shut that down, and at least like add a couple of the things we know we're going to need. So we know we're going to need the CSS, so we can use this Emmet abbreviation. I think we called it index CSS, and then we eventually are going to need the module here from index.js. So there we go. Okay, cool. So we got both of those things up, and let's make sure that they're working. So I'm going to come over here. Let's add a basic, like, I don't know, say body is background color of blue. There we go. Something like that. I'm going to shut off Copilot. Hide. How do I get you to stop? No. Snooze. Hide suggestions. I guess. I'll get rid of all that. Okay. I might have to keep doing that because I don't remember how to turn it off in here. I use Cursor a lot, and Zed and a bunch of other ones. Usually I only use this version of VS Code because I have a couple different profiles when I'm recording. So I always forget how to turn it off in here. All right, so we know that this is working. That's good. Let's just double check that the The JS is working as well. Say hi. Come down here. Hi. Okay, cool. So we got everything hooked up properly. Let's now just jump over here and kind of see what we're going to need. So I know I'm going to need this right here, so I might as well copy this as a PNG, these headphones, and then I think the rest of this I can just do it in CSS. So let's add this here if it'll let me. Yeah. So we'll call these headphones. All right, well, at least get this on the page and kind of go from there. So again, I'm going to treat this as kind of like a beginner project, just using straight up HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, but that'll be fun. So first of all, let's just get the basic stuff on the page, and then we'll worry about styling and stuff like that later. So let's start by getting our image on the page here. The source here will be, if I can spell, headphones. And then for now, just make sure it's on there. Okay, cool. We'll have to obviously change the CSS for this to work. But for now, let's set like a width of 300, and that might help at least. And then, sure, let's put an alt on here. White and brown Samsung over-ear headphones. And I think that's mostly all we really have to do. I guess we should have height on here as well. And we'll do 300 as well. Oh, whatever the ratio is going to be. Let's see. Whatever that is. So I guess we'll figure that out with CSS. I won't worry about it. Okay. So we got that on there at least. Let's copy the rest of this stuff over. I don't know. Let's see. Poppins, Roboto. Please say there's not 3. Okay. Roboto. Okay, so we have Poppins. I don't know that I'm going to pull Poppins in for one thing, frankly. I guess I have 2 things. Okay. Called my bluff. All right, so let's come back over here. Let's go to fonts.google.com. Ideally, these would be local fonts, but I'm not super concerned about this. So let's see. We've got semi-bold. We've got medium. We've got regular. We've got bold, regular, medium. I'm not going to have 3 different Robotos. Okay. I guess we could also use, why is this in a different language? Are they just showing this? Did I click something to make it this way? I don't know. Okay, we'll use it. So we're going to get the font here. We'll get the embed code. So we'll grab this. I think we're only going to need a couple of the weights. I don't know what weights these would even be, so we'll figure it out. Okay. So let me move this over, and we'll add a couple things here as well. It's probably a good idea to actually have the title up top here, so it's not blocked by all this stuff loading. I don't know. It doesn't super matter. So there we go. Okay. So we pulled that in at least. I don't know how many of these things we're going to use, but I guess we'll just leave them all in there for now. It doesn't super matter. Normally, you'd want to obviously limit this to just the ones you need, so you're not loading in like every font known to mankind, but I'll leave that to you since this is just a fake sample project. All right, Roboto as well. And let's pull this in and do the same thing. Get the font, get the embed code. Let's see, Poppins here. Is Roboto here and I'm just missing it? Oh yeah, okay. So we're just gonna pull all that in. That's fine. All right, so let's replace all this here like that. And then we should have this as our body font. So I guess we'll have 2 fonts, which we probably will set up in a second. But for now, at least I got those in there. Let's have this kind of have its own section. So we're gonna have 2 sections here. We'll have a main tag, which you use to put the main body of the content of your HTML there. And then we'll have this image area. Now, if I remember right, the design over here has a bunch of dots and stuff. So we'll just create these with CSS, but they're kind of in this section. So we'll split this thing and have it in 2 sections and probably use some kind of Flex container. So for now, all we'll say is like headphone section, I guess, and then drop this thing over here. We'll have a bunch of other things in here as well, using just CSS to set all this stuff up. What are these things over here? I don't like it when I have numbers on the side. Okay. And then over here we'll have like product details, which is probably what we should have called this. We'll call this like product image, something like that. Okay. So right over here, we're going to have a couple of things. Oh no, this thing's back. Well, this will be good. It'll give me a nice, oh, look, I can snooze it a lot. That's what I want. Okay. I knew there was a way to do that. Let's restart these extensions and then let's get this copy in here. Okay. So let's kind of go in reverse order here. So I'm going to have this, this, and this, and I can then paste this. And probably what this should be, assuming this is like an actual like landing page, I'd want these to be like the bell over, probably would be the H1, I would guess. So we'll have a paragraph tag here and another one down below. And then in the middle, we'd have the H1. I think that works. Okay, so down here, let's paste these. Oh, I thought I copied them in reverse order. I did, I just pasted them in the wrong way. All right, so we'll have that there. And then this will say headphones. And we'll capitalize that using CSS. Okay, so I think that mostly works. Did I kill my server somehow? I must have. Oh, when I restarted everything. Okay, get out of here. Okay, cool. So at least we've got that stuff in there. Then we're going to have this section here, which would probably dynamically be, or I don't know, depending on your framework, you'd have this as components, but it's fine. Let's grab these here. We'll copy these all kind of one at a time. Now, because these are similar, we'd probably have a class that's similar to them, but there is like a first and last, so we can use CSS to decide if this is the first child of this section, then do this, and etc. Roboto looks like was hacked. Yeah, I think it's just in a different language. I could use Astra for this because we do have a couple little components, but I figured it's such a basic landing page that the people who are going to watch this are probably people who are beginners to CSS. So why not just focus on CSS and HTML and JavaScript? But I don't really plan these things at a time, so this is just what I happen to be doing right now. Okay, we probably also need this whole section, this whole thing in some kind of section, so we could have like a product name. Now, you can do like product details name here or something like that as well if you want to, and that way you can use like more of a BEM style syntax. I don't know that that's exactly BEM style. I don't know that I use a lot of Tailwind, frankly, now when I'm writing stuff, because I come back to projects so infrequently. It's just easier cognitively. So I don't name a ton of stuff anyhow anymore. I don't know if that's sad or not, but it is where we're at. So we have the product details name and then like product details info, I guess. I don't know. We can paste all this stuff in here. Now, this whole section will have these be its own section, and then this will also be part of that, I would think. And then we'd separate this off in its own little section. So probably what I should do is have another section here where we have, I don't even know what to call this anymore. Again, this is the naming issue, the hardest thing in CSS. We're going to have like stats or something like that. So let's just have this as stats straight up. So we'll have those three sections in here. So we'll have just probably row is what I would call these things. And we'll have a paragraph for each of these. And yeah, we could just do that for all that. And then down below the stats, we'll have like the counter or something like that. Oh, I almost sneezed. We were so close. It's about to happen. Didn't happen. Okay. Now let's go ahead and paste this stuff in. And I'm going to have three of these things. And I don't remember what I copied first. Okay, cool. So let's go backwards, I guess. We'll start here. Material. Plastic. Yeah, okay. That's right. So I'm just kind of pasting in reverse. And that should be okay. Okay, cool. So we got all that set up. Next, we've got the buttons down here, which these will probably be some kind of input counters. Because I'd want somebody to be able to click in here and like change the value as well. And then we'll use JavaScript to increment that. So probably what I'm going to have is like a button over here. And we'll have the class of like button. Do I have any other buttons? I have a byte now. How do I want this to look? Yeah, I think I'd want this. Okay, so we're gonna have a button, and then we'll have a class of like, I think I'll just do a class of minus and not overcomplicate this. So we'll do that. We'll have a class of plus, and then we'll have an input in the middle here. So this input will be a type of number, and we'll have this be like quantity or something. Same thing here, I guess. Quantity. And then I guess I should wrap all this. So let's have a label. And this will have a span. And let's have a class on here of like SR only. So we'll hide this for people without screen readers, but this will say like quantity of numbers or something of product and cart. I don't know. Something like that. Okay. And then inside here, we'll have this again. We should probably have a default number. Can I have a default value, I guess? Just set this to 0. And then they can always come change this to something else. Probably need to eliminate things that don't match, but we can do that in JavaScript. Okay, so I think that's mostly it. Then we have a button over here. This is buy now for, and then $3.99. So this is next to the counter. So this whole thing should be one section. It should be like a counter button. And maybe we call this thing like CTA. And we'll paste all this back in. And then down below the counter button, we'll also have a normal button. This will be add. Probably, obviously, you'd have some kind of like class called button or something like that, but we'll just do add to cart. Okay, cool. And this will have two sections. So we'll have a span over here. Oops. Span over here, and then we'll have another span, and I thought I copied these, but maybe I didn't. So buy now for, and then we'll have $3.99. Okay, I think we're mostly there. Then it's just styling in HTML after, or yeah, JavaScript after that. So we've got this little icon. I guess we'll just copy this thing as an SVG. And this will be below all this. So we've got product details here. Okay, so this whole section will be below this. We'll have this like 360 or view of 360. I don't know, product 3D. It doesn't really matter. Okay, and we're going to have three things here. We'll have a circle. I'll just give this a class of circle. You probably want this to be something better than that, but that'll work for now. We'll paste our SVG in there. Oh boy. That'll work. Okay, and then below the SVG, we will have whatever this at 360 view. Okay, so let's do that, 360 view. Okay, so I think we've got everything in there for the most part. Now it's just a matter of kind of getting the CSS and the JavaScript set up. So maybe let's focus on the JavaScript first, I guess. So let's come over to the button and get this thing working. I don't exactly know what we're supposed to do other than like increment this, and when I click buy for now, maybe throw up some kind of toast message or something like that. Hey Dante, welcome. So let's do that. So let's see this plus and minus. I guess these are going to be down here. Yeah, so we're going to have this be a plus. Nope. Minus. Can't read my own writing. And then down here we'll have plus. I think that should work. And we probably need to add an ARIA label on here just to say what this thing does. We could say like increment item. Sure. Or add item. How about this? And then ARIA label. We'll do like subtract item. Okay, I think that should work. And that way when somebody's using a screen reader or some kind of assistive technology, they'll actually get this read out. So yeah. All right, I think that'll work. Oops. Okay, so now what I want to do is just make sure that whenever I'm adding this thing to cart and I click buy now, that it adds it to some kind of cart somewhere. I don't know exactly what we're going to do for that. I guess I don't have a cart anywhere in this page, so maybe let's just create an extra little section. So let me come below the main. We'll just have a cart section, and it will just say like, I don't know, items in your cart. Not heart, but also that. And then we'll add how many headphones you have or whatever else you have. Now, there's a bunch of different ways we could do this. Obviously, if this was some kind of real e-commerce store, we'd have this stored somewhere, and we could just reference the ID, how much it is, all that kind of stuff, and grab that from the database and upload it. I think that's probably a little too advanced for what we're doing right now. So all I'm going to do is just have like a static thing in here of headphones. So maybe what we should just do is like headphones in cart. And we could store this in local storage or something. And if you're just getting used to HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, that would probably be enough to be useful here. So we'll say 0. We'll say class. We'll call this like in cart. Yeah, something like that. Okay. All right. I think that mostly works. I'll probably throw a class on here as well, like H2. All right. So let's think through what we want to do here. I probably need to add some IDs to this as well. So we'll have like add to cart. And usually, at least the way a lot of people do it is CSS, as classes are used for CSS, and then IDs, or you could do like data attributes if you want, would be used for like buttons like this. Now, probably, honestly, I would use some kind of data attribute here because I might have multiple add to cart buttons on a page. And so, yeah. Well, we'll figure it out here. We'll say like increment item. Let's just leave it at increment like that. And then we'll do an ID here of decrement. All right, so that's enough to at least get started. Let's pull this thing over here and maybe let's split the editor if I can. And because of how wide this is, maybe let's go like this. Okay, so let's grab a couple of things. So here, I'm going to have some query selectors. So we're going to use this to grab the items we want. And this is how you select them in JavaScript. We'll see how to do that in HTML or in CSS in a second. But I want to grab a few things. I want to grab my buttons. So we'll call this like decrement button. And you can name this whatever you want. But we're going to store this variable or point this variable to this decrement button here. Let's say document.querySelector. And we're just going to select the decrement like that. All right. And then let's also grab the increment button, and we'll grab the increment. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. And then we do have this input as well. So I can select this by a couple of things, but I've got the ID here. So why not do that? So we'll say the quantity input, just so I remember what it is. And we'll do document.querySelector again. And this time we'll select the quantity. And this hashtag, #, whatever, is the way to select the ID. Okay, so I've got those. I also need this add to cart button as well. So we'll grab this and say add to cart button and grab this here. Okay, so I've got everything I need at this point, except for this little section down here, right? So I need to know in cart is also going to be my section. So we'll say const like in cart quantity, and we'll say document.querySelector. And here we'll go a class for some reason. That should be an ID. Okay, so let's grab this here. Probably, honestly, this would be data attribute for me as well, because you might have this in multiple different places. So if I was doing this for some reason in like hardcore straight up HTML, that's probably what I would do. But okay, so we've got headphones and cart, got all that stuff. Okay, so now let's think through kind of the logic of what we want. When somebody changes the input, I don't need to change anything. So they can just manually come in here and change that. I probably want to restrict what they can do. So I can do that on the actual input itself. So I could do like a pattern here, and this would say like what they're allowed to do. I don't remember what the regex is for this. This is why we have LLMs. So like regex for only numbers 0 through 9, you know, for only numbers. Let's do that and just see what it comes up with. It's like 0, digit thing, this thing. I don't want this. 1 or more digits. matches, does not match. Okay, yeah, that's what I want. So we're just going to do this. I should be able to pass this thing in here, and this is what it will accept. So if I try to do a dot, it won't accept it. Oh, I guess it will accept it. I didn't think it would. Let's at least try to do, won't do letters. What I don't want is dots. So let's say like regex for numbers, but no dot. I don't know. If you want to memorize regex or do this, go for it. But I feel like this is one of these things I'm very happy to pass off to the LLM. Could have leading or trailing white spaces. If you need to match numbers, I could have. No, I don't. Negative numbers too. Just now whole strings. Okay. I thought this is what I already had. End of string. I don't know. Anyhow, there's a way to do it. Obviously, I'm not doing it. And maybe that the local, like the actual number type itself is, I don't know. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. Okay, anyhow, we should be okay just to let the user add numbers in there. That's fine. Then what we're going to do, I guess we could round down or something. When we click buy now, that'll work. Logically, what we want to do is when somebody clicks this button right here, this decrement button, I want to increase or decrease the value in the cart. So actually change this number. So that's the first thing we're going to do is we're going to like handle clicking the increment or the decrement buttons. So what I probably want to do is for both of these have some kind of, I know I just selected them with IDs, but I think there's probably a better use case for a data attribute here. Or maybe we can combine the two. Let's do that. So we'll say they both have data cart update or something like that, or data update. It doesn't really matter. And then here I'm going to say that this is set to decrement. So let's do that. And I guess I don't really need this button at all anymore, this ID at all anymore. So we'll do that. And we'll do the same thing down here. Now, what this will allow us to do is select them both kind of at the same time. So increment like that. And then what we're going to do is just change these here. So we'll say like update buttons. And here we're going to select all that have this pattern. So anything that's a data update like this. And now what I can do is run a query selector off, or an actual event listener off of these. So we're going to take these update buttons and for each button, we're going to take the button, which I'll call B in this case. And I just want B.add event listener. And what am I doing wrong here? Oh, it's biome. Get out of here, biome. Let me turn off biome because I think it's kind of distracting right now. Okay. Oh no, and I'm going to have to restart my server again. Eventually it'll restart. There we go. Okay. All right. So for each of these event listeners, I just want to take the button at this point. So this will be for each item here. Yeah, and I want to check to see which button it is. So I want to see which data button it is, and you can grab that off the update item here. So it's data-update. So you can get this a couple different ways, but for instance, I could say like type equals button. What did I call it? btn dot dataset dot update, for instance. And let's just make sure that we're actually getting this. So let's console log the type here. So what I'm saying is every time I click one of these buttons, either of these buttons, I want you to add an event listener both, and I want to just see what type of button I've clicked on. So it should show increment or decrement depending on what I've clicked on. So if I come over here, nothing happens, which is awesome and exactly what I wanted. So what am I doing wrong? What is this? I don't know. Update buttons for each, query selector all. Let's first of all just make sure we're getting this at all. Okay, so we are getting both of these. Event 2 arguments required, only one present. Oh, I didn't do a click. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a click event. And nope. Where we take in the event like that. All right, there we go. And here we're going to grab the e.target.dataset. Oh my. All right, so let's come back inside here. Click is not defined. On click. What am I messing up here? This is the danger of like working with on blocking what I'm typing. That's not good. Let's get rid of my face because it's not really that important. Nope, wrong one. Scene. There we go. Okay. For of loop would be better. You're not wrong. All right, let's back out of this thing. Since I clearly made some basic JavaScript errors here. So we can use a for of loop since we had that suggestion. So we can call this button of buttons. And we'll just say for button dot add event listener. And we want to listen first of all to a click event. And then hopefully, let's just console clicked for now, not liked. Buttons is not defined. Update buttons. What am I messing up here? On click. Don't I have a click event? What is this thing called? On click? Is that what it's called? I thought it was click. What am I messing up? Click event listener. Wow, I did not expect to search this up today. This is the danger of when you just use LLMs too frequently for stuff that's obvious. What am I messing up here? Oh, it's a string. Duh. Good old JavaScript. All right. See, this is the kind of thing you don't really pay attention to. Okay, there we go. This is all we need. I'm so sorry. All right, where are we at? Let's grab the type here. We're going to do this from the e.target. Actually, I guess we can just grab it from the button now that we're in here. Great idea, Fuzzy. Yeah, it is coffee time. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry. Oh, and I never even moved the transition over. There we go. Now you can actually see what I'm typing as well. Button.dataset dataset.update. Okay. Now we are going to console log this. Console.log. Oh boy. And then we'll just click here. Okay, decrement, increment. This is all we needed. All right, so either way, what we're going to do is then write a little function that can handle what we should do here. So we're going to have this as like our event handlers or event listeners. Goodness. I also can't type. Listeners. All right, so this is what we're going to do here. And then up above here, we'll just have some like utility functions. All right, so one of them will do like update cart or something like that. So const, and you know what we should do? We should have some kind of custom event. Yeah. Yeah, so let's have a custom event, which I forget the exact syntax for how to create one that's like reusable, custom event. Not listener. Yeah, so you can do a new custom event, but I want it to have detail included in it. So you can dispatch these events. I think probably what we'll do, let's just do a cart changed one. So if I do cart changed, something like that, we'll do, maybe we can also, no, we don't need to do anything when they enter stuff, but we'll do new custom event, and then we'll just call this cart update, and maybe we should also name the same thing here, update. Yeah, I think that'll work. So we want to fire this new custom event. So what we want to do is fire it with some kind of detail associated with it. Can't you do that here? Let's see the dispatching events. Yeah. Event. No. Isn't there a way to, okay, you can pass this along. element.dataset.time. Oh yeah, I think that's what I want. Okay. So what we want to do is we can just do that. Yeah. So let's just take the element dot dataset dot update and make this as part of that. I think that's right. And this would just be in detail like that. And I think we can name this whatever we want, but we'll just call it L. All right. So that means I don't even have to do anything here. At least I don't think. Let's just leave that there. What I can do is just fire the custom event. And I think all this comes along for the ride. So now what I can do is just fire off or dispatch the event like this. So I can take whatever the element is. Ooh, maybe I had to pass this along. I'm not sure. Okay. So let's take the button dot dispatch event, and we're going to dispatch our custom event, which is called cart update. I think this could possibly work for confidence. All right, so now what I want to do is I guess we could just do window to add event listener. Anytime anything has the, now that I remember to put in strings, cart update event. Yeah, then I just want to listen to that, whatever the event happens to be. Goodness. And when I want to dispatch, how do I get that detail again? I don't remember. So what this allows us to do is basically fire off detail dynamic. Okay, that's what I want. In fact, let me just copy all this and we'll replace all this. And we're going to do update. All right, let's see if this works or if I mess something up royally again. L is not referenced. So maybe this has to be the actual button. Man, that's not cool. Is there no way to do this? I thought you could like pass along something. Like, can you pass along an element? Why is my keyboard not typing? Element with a custom event. Let's see. I'm going to go to Stack Overflow like a cave person. Yes, you can use message event. Okay. I knew there was something. Oh boy. Or a custom event. Listen for the event. Dispatch the new event. Or pass along the detail. Okay, yeah, but I want it to be more customized than that. Data serialized, custom event, all the detail property. I'm just wasting my time and yours. Get out of here. Can I not pass along the detail? Oh, I guess I could create a new one every time. That's probably not the right thing to do. Oh, you can omit? Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. I don't know that that's really going to solve my problem, though. What are we doing? I don't know, Fuzzy. Does anyone know? I think what I'm going to do is just create a new custom event in here like this. And then I will just have this be this right here. But then you're like creating a custom event every time, which I don't know if that's the right thing to do. And then just dispatching it. But then when I come in here and I click, something should happen, a value, cart update. But I'm dispatching this on the button, so this needs to be on the window anyhow. Can I dispatch this event, cart update? Why is this not working now? Oh, man, what am I doing wrong? Okay, I don't know. Maybe this was a dumb idea. I was trying to make this more interesting than just like standard HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, but now I've just made a mess of it. So much for a fun day. Why is this thing not updating anything? So I'm inside here. I create a new custom event. I dispatch this event, and I was going to use this to update the cart everywhere. All right. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but let's just go back to something easy. We'll do type equals this, and then I'm just going to pass this along to a function. and we'll call it a day. So let's come up top here and we'll have a const update cart function where we're going to take in a type, and then all I want to do is take my cart and I want to update it. So first thing I want to do is get, actually I don't really even need to update the cart. I'm just updating the input. So I made like a huge deal out of all that I didn't need to do. So we'll say quantity input dot, we just do value equals whatever the existing value happens to be. So I guess I should first get the value out of here. So we'll say current equals this, or I guess if it's nothing, it could be undefined, I guess. We could have it be 0. And then all I want to do is set the quantity input.value, and now as a setter here, to be equal to 0. And then I guess we need to either increment or decrement it. So we could say like, can I do type if this is increment, then if this equals increment, then the type would be 1. Otherwise, the type would be -1. And either way, I'm going to add that to the current. Is that too messy to do this? And this should input or update this. Maybe. Oh yeah, I have to call it. So update down here. And we're just going to pass in the type. What did I do wrong here? So let's come in here. First of all, make sure I got this. So if I click in here, it is 0, 1. So it's not incrementing it past that. So I need to get the value each time, but it's staying at 1. So do I need to use like I need to clean it up, don't I? Yeah, and I could probably just use, I bet if I used inner text, that would also work. Yeah, I bet that would work. And then we could do the same thing here maybe. No, that's not going to help me. But I can set the inner text. And it's been such a long time since I've done this kind of thing where you're using just standard JavaScript inside of here. So I would need to clean this up, right? Let's see. Oh, yeah, that's what Fuzzy is saying as well. I'm not sure I remember how to do this. This is the nice thing about live streaming is like you genuinely get to figure out what you don't know. And even stuff that you're like, oh, I totally know how to do that. You do it live and you're like, oh, I actually don't really know. And so that's cool. It like kind of tells you what you need to do. So let me just, let's see. So every time I call this function, I should be updating this type. So I'm going to pass the type. Here, can't you like grab this from like, can't you use like JSON? Isn't there like a weird hack where you like JSON.parse the input here? Oops. I feel like there's like a, oops. I feel like there's like a weird hack there. No, that didn't work. Let's see. Fuzzy has an idea here. Current plus equals, the type equals that. So it's not how I'm getting it here. I thought there was a way that I'm like getting it wrong. All right, so let's just do fuzzies. That's why we have Fuzzy come to these things. Fuzzy, I'm going to text you next time I'm about to get here so you can just come help me. Type, if it equals, oops, plus equals. All right. That's true. So we should probably make sure this is a number, which we can do there. So that's probably that's the issue. That's the issue. It's not a number. It's also been forever since I've written vanilla JavaScript and not TypeScript, so that would have caught that pretty easy, I think. Nope, that also didn't work. Okay, cool. Because what we want to do is turn this into a number, because by default, it's going to just be a string. So now what we need to do is change this. All right, we're almost there. We're getting so close. So we're going to take the current this value equals whatever the current plus equals. And then I think this is going to need to be in, no, constant. What is it yelling at me for? What am I doing wrong here? I guess let's just grab this first of all, like new number, and make sure this is actually working properly anyhow. So let's do that. So we'll do current number, assignment to constant variable. What am I assigning to a constant? Current plus equals, oh, this needs to be a let. Huh. All right, Fuzzy, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. This should not be this difficult. Well, this is kind of embarrassing, but somehow I'm messing this whole thing up. So we're going to take whatever the current is and add to it that. So if it's increment, it should be this. If it's decrement, we were adding a negative number. That seems correct. All right, what am I messing up? I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Okay, well, I guess we're going to get rid of that. We'll just go back to CSS and let Fuzzy figure that out. But on click step up by. Yeah. I don't think that's very repeatable though. This should not be difficult. I don't know what I'm struggling with. So let's just, usually when you hit your head against the wall of something that you're like, this is super obvious, I can't believe I'm not figuring this out. But yeah, so I kind of feel like what I should do is just move to CSS and come back. And usually it's like the very first time I look at it next, I'm like, oh, duh, what was I thinking? So let's just do that instead of wasting everyone's time because it should not be difficult. All right, let's take the before and we'll do some like basic clears here. So I'm going to take box sizing. We're going to set this to border box and then a margin 0 and padding 0. Oops. All right, so that at least gets rid of all that. Let's come down and I'm probably going to have like just grab my right here and I'm going to set up a couple things. So we'll have colors, and this should not have been taking me this long. Fonts. So we'll say like body font, font, body, and I'll set this to Roboto. And this should probably be fonts. There we go. Okay. We'll have Roboto and then like sans serif, and then we'll also have like the heading font or whatever. And this was Poppins. All right, and then let's apply that to start with. So I'll say font family, and I'm just going to point this to my var of font body. There we go. I think that works. Is that actually... It says it's Roboto. Okay. I'll take your word for it. Let's change it to heading. Okay, so it is working. Cool. All right, so we'll use that there. We'll probably also want some like fonts weight. We'll do bold, I guess. Why don't we just do font bold? And here we'll do like 800. And then let's copy this down, assuming that it'll let me. And medium, and then we'll do like regular or something like that. So we'll do 600 400 and call it a day. Okay, so that should set us up okay. All right, let's now pay attention to some colors. And I guess we should probably also add a couple other clears too. So let's take our image and say display block and max width 100%. Get rid of the weird inline like padding thing that comes with those size that comes in. It's like a line height or something, and then make sure it's max width of that. Okay, I think that should work. Let's come down here, and I'm gonna have like my H1s and H2s. I guess we could also just have anything with like a, let's have the other one be an H3, and it won't really be an H3, but it'll be styled that way. So that's the benefit of using these classes, is I can kind of separate out the semantic HTML from the actual HTML itself. All right. Yeah, I think we're good there. Let me just bring this down then, and we'll set this to heading. Right now, I think this is the only one that'll take that on, so we should probably come back up top here and add some classes here. So we'll have a class here of H1, and then up above here, a class of H3. And I probably also want to use like a uppercase class, so I can have like a little utility class here. So here we'll have like typography. All right, and then uppercase will be text transform of uppercase. There we go. Okay, I think the rest of that's fine. All right, let's set up some basic utilities as well. So we'll have some utilities here. And I'm going to have a stack. We'll just do display grid. And here's where I probably also want to get some sizes in here. So we'll do sizes. There's a website I used to use a lot. It's called utopia.fyi, where you can grab like nice little, predictable sections. I don't want a grid, spacers. Yeah, so I can grab these kind of predictable sizes, and we'll just grab this. That'll work. Close that down, move it over here. And we'll just drop this in here. Okay, so we've got different spaces that we can use. Probably don't need that many, but that's fine. We'll come back in here and add the stack here. We'll do like gap of space 1.5. That seems a little big. Something like that. Okay, so we'll do a normal stack like that. And that means we can just throw stack on a few of these things. So if, for instance, if I throw a stack on here, it should space all this stuff out, however I'd want it to be. I should also probably come in here and change the line height. Again, I'd probably want to set this up as a CSS variable, but we'll set it up to like 1.1, something like that. Okay, I think that works. And then the stack, you can actually see the benefit here. Hopefully that makes sense why we're doing that. So then we'll also have a couple other stacks. So let's have a stack small. And here we'll do something like 2x extra small. And then we'll have, I guess we'll have a large. And this can be large. We'll see how that pans out. So if I come back over here, let's add a stack here. Stack small. Sure. Okay. And then we can also add like stack large here. And that'll give us a larger break between those two. So I think that'll work. Probably want one more then. So we'll take an extra large as well and grab an extra large, or maybe 2XL, and put that over the whole section over here. So this would be this extra large. And then let's see, we've got this section here, the name. We've got the detail info. So here we may just want a normal stack. I don't know, maybe a stack large. We can adjust those obviously as we need to. And then this is its own little section. And this should be in here. Yeah, okay. So I think that'll work. And then the whole body can also get, or the main here can also get a class. And we'll do stack extra large as well. So it spaces that thing out, I think. We also make it a grid, which I don't actually know that I want that. So we'll just add something to the other section. So I'm just going to use the main tag directly here, and let's at least get this stuff kind of spaced out. Well, yeah, maybe we should add a couple other things first. So the body itself, let's add a padding on here, and let's do like, I don't know, large. I think we'll do something like that, and then maybe we'll do small or var space medium. There we go. Side to side. Okay, so that should work. Cool. All right, let's actually look at our design and see what else we have going on here. Man, I have made a work out of this project. So let's keep all that stuff together. That should work there. Okay, so let's get some headphones that works. We probably also need to space that out a bit, huh? So uppercase. What is that thing called? Not leading. Man. Letter spacing. There we go. It came to me eventually. It's going to be way too much? No? Okay. I want to have something like that. Okay, cool. Bevel over, font heading. We'll do, for all of these, that one's bold, that one's bold, that one's not bold. Semi-bold, medium. Okay, so maybe I should just adjust what I'm calling these things here. Where's my typography here? So let's take this more like 700. We do 500, and then I'm going to add font bold to these, to at least the H1 and the H2. We'll do font weight of bold. There we go, I think. All right, cool. So I think that's working. Let's set a font weight on the body as well, just to make sure that that's what we want it to be. Font weight, and I'm going to do medium. That's disappointing. Well, the nice thing is we can just change it here. No, I want regular. That's why it's like, that doesn't look right at all. Font regular. I don't know if that's any better. That's probably what we already had. And again, I don't exactly know what it was supposed to be. We'll just leave it there. Okay. What else should we do here? Let's get some colors in here, I guess. So probably the easiest thing to do is just to see all the colors we have. So let me pull this over here, and then we'll look at the colors. Oh boy. So we've got a lot of colors. Let's use, I don't know where this thing is. What does this say? Style. Select 5 using the color. Okay. Well, that's kind of cool. It shows me all the ones that are using it. I forgot it does that. So let's set up some basic rules in here. So I'm going to grab, I'm assuming text. We'll use like that brown color, like a muted brown, a really light brown. So I guess that's what we'll do. So let's come back up here to the colors. We'll do text. And let's, paste this in here. And I've got a nice extension. Goodness. That should show me what that is. Okay, cool. So let's just copy this down a few times, and we'll just change this out. And kind of go in reverse until we hit our black color, which is right there. Okay, so we'll have text, and then we'll have like, I guess we'll call this accent. And then accent muted. And then we'll just call this muted. I don't know if these are dumb names, but we can at least name stuff the way we need it to be. I also kind of feel like if I'm going to do this, I might as well get something a little bit off of like normal straight up black. So let me change the text here as well. Okay, so with those variables set up, we can now come in here and have our color be to text like this. And then we've also got whatever this color is. I don't think I have this yet. So this should probably be muted. So we'll have this be light. And then this could be accent muted. I'm not even being consistent with the naming of these things with the like double dashes and all that. So sorry. We'll have muted here. And then let's just take all these and make them color options here. So I'm going to have a bunch of utility classes, so we can just add this in our HTML. So we're going to do like size utilities. And then let's have color utils. Ooh, we took so long that Copilot came back. Maybe we should just use this since I'm doing so awesome today. Muted, accent light, that should be fine because this is just typing this stuff out. And then we could have the text doesn't really need to be anything, so I think that should work. All right, so what that means, what I can do is come over to this section. Man, I cannot believe it took me more than 40 minutes to do all that. When you say that enough, then you should just learn from it and know that either you should have lower expectations or you should practice more. Text accent or text muted. I think that's what this thing was. There we go. These are all the normal text. Okay, so this section here, we've got the kind of the dark color and the light color. So, so that would all be inside here. So I think what I'll do is instead of using the classes here, I'll just do the first and last child or something like that. I think that'll work. Okay, so let's now come into our rows here. And I think I'll just make these as part of the utility functions here. So we'll say row, display flex. Watch it now get in my way. Align items, center, justify content, space between. Okay, and then we'll have some padding and get out of here. Small. Man, what is going on with my keyboard? I wonder if it's VS Code because I never have trouble until I come inside here to like live stream, but it's because I'm not in this profile. I wonder if I've messed up this profile somehow. Very possible. All right, now we've got this color here, which I don't know if I have this yet. Do I have this thing yet? No, so this would be 60% of this thing. Now, usually what I like to do is convert these things into HSL like this, and that way I can just kind of wrap them as I need them and add like utilities or opacity on the fly. Let's see where we're at here. I figured this, like it makes sense to me that the CSS takes a little bit of time. I think people don't give CSS enough credit. If you're going to set it up properly, I guess you'd say, like you just need time. It just doesn't go fast. So I assumed that this would take a little bit of time, but kind of disappointed the JavaScript was hard because they shouldn't have been. So let's do the same thing here. We're going to wrap all these in HSL like that. And that way I can use on the row here, wherever that's at, we can use the background color. And here I'll just do HSL, and then we're going to do like light for now or something like that. And then I can just do like a / 0.6. Let's see what that does. So too much. HSL var accent. Did I not remove? Because I don't need these. And I think that's what's throwing me off here. Let's actually see by removing this one. Why is my arrow key not moving? Yeah, okay. So that's what I need to do. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right, so what is this thing again? It is whatever the darker color is. So that's accent, but it's 60% of that. Well, I thought it was accent, but it must not be. So let's do accent light. Sure. That looks better. Okay. We've also got the border color, which is whatever this straight up orangey color is. So let's just add this maybe directly in here because I think it's only used for the border. So we'll just call this border. And I think I have a utility somewhere on my machine to change this over, but if it's going to do it for me, maybe. All right, that'll work. So let's use the border color here around the row. All right, border, we'll do like 2 pixels, solid, HSL border, and then I'm going to have this 0.07. What is this border? That's 60%. Okay. That doesn't seem right either. This is 7. I don't know. We'll do 0.1. Okay. Let's space these things out a bit, and that might help as well. All right, so we have stuff in the middle, and that does not look anywhere close to like what it should. Maybe I should get the rest of these colors in here first because I might be just selecting the wrong one. That should be that accent. Is there like another color overlaying this or something? Stroke, fill. Now I just want to figure out what this thing is. Table. Oh, it's 7% of that. So that's what's the 7%. Okay. All right. Well, that's good to know. So let's use this. And this is 0.7. No wonder it looks so off. Sorry, 0.07. There we go. And then this is whatever that thing is. What is this thing? 60%. Nope. It's the other thing that's 60%. Okay. So it's not a border at all, but I'm not changing it at this point. So we're going to do accent, and this will be 0.6. Maybe it's accent light. Okay. We're going to call that good. That's close-ish. Yeah. Okay. And then let's have, depending on like kind of which one this is. So this top one here, it looks like it has four border radius. So I should be able to say like last child. And then we're going to have border radius would be 4 pixels, 4 pixels. Nope. 0, 0. Wait, 0? Let's just check. Yeah, that's right. Okay. And then we'll do first child, same kind of thing. First child. And that's fine. Okay. So that should work, I think. I guess we don't really need these internal borders here. So we could say, is that these also? So this one has like border bottom is set to none. And then this one would be border top. And this would be set to none. If I can type, thank you. All right, I think that works. Last thing I need to do is to change this. So this typography for the first item here. So we could do this in a couple different ways, but we've got, since we're already inside of here, we can just say like the, come on. So the first child. just make sure this is working. Okay, yeah. So here we're going to say it should be accent for the text here. And then we'll say for the last child, I guess I don't even need that. That should work too. Let's just make sure. Yep. Then we'll have last child. So on each of these rows, oh, look at this. I think I have an extension that shows these classes for, what is it? Some kind of library for icons or something. All right, and then this will be accent light, something like that. Okay, that's more or less where we're at. Let's add slightly bigger padding right here, and we'll call this section done. All right, that should work. Man, I've turned this into a mess. Let's see. Where are we at? Let's create something for these buttons and get those figured out. Okay. So we've got these buttons here. We've got the minus and the last button. So let's do some kind of like, I guess we're going to have like a button sections. So I'm going to have, let's do a basic, like take all of our buttons for now and at least add some basic padding to them. They're going to obviously change as we go. Okay, now I want you to get out of here. I guess we should add some, I'm just going to add some padding and then like 100% radius. So padding, large. Do I not have a large? Just called L. Okay. Medium, small. Something like that. We'll do border radius, Vmax. Okay, we'll do border. Do they have a border? They all do, but they're different. So looks like they're 2 pixels. And then what we can do is just do like declare a internal variable here, which I like to do with these underscores, be like button background. And then we'll have a default here. So let's have HSL var, come on. And then we'll do accent for our standard one. And then we'll apply that here. So var internal button black. Okay. Does this not work? Oh my. What is going on here? Why is this not working? It is, evidently. I guess it would be light. Huh. And we can change it for these other ones over here. Okay, I think that's good. And then let's update the by for now, all that kind of stuff. Oh, we at least want the font to be inherited. So we'll just inherit all the properties from the font. Inherit like that. Man, I gotta go too. I did not expect this to take more than an hour, but here I am saying it's easy and then I can't do the most basic stuff. But let's at least get the layout semi-correct here. So let me get this thing to half and half, and we'll probably have to zoom this out a touch. Hopefully that's okay. let's come up top here to where the body is. I'm just going to grab the main tag. Oops. Main, we're going to do display flex. And then a gap of like extra large. Medium, I don't know, it doesn't really matter. Probably also should have this whole thing. Let's see, min height is 100 SVH. And then place content center. I think that should work. Okay, cool. We might as well place item center where we're at it. Place items center. And that way our cart down below that we're probably never going to get to will be ready. Then we'll have a gap of extra large and space that out, isn't that? Yeah, okay, that should work. All right, so now we've got this thing that we'll probably never touch, but at least it's kind of set up properly. Let's set our image here. We'll do like 400, 500, it doesn't really matter, but just to kind of get a sense of what these should be. Let's come back to our row. We probably want to make sure we have a gap on there, which I don't think we have. So we'll say gap just in case they happen to get close. Space, come on. Just in case they happen to get close like this, then they'll at least stay apart from each other. Okay, so that should work. We got the spacing okay. That seems a little weird to me. It's so large. So maybe this should be more like medium. Nope, wrong one. So we may not need a large. That's fine. Okay. So we got that set up. What else do I want? Man. Quantity of product in cart. That was my SR only. Let's have an SR only. Okay, it's going to do that for me. I won't, because I was just going to copy that from Tailwind anyhow. Okay, so I think that all that's good. Let's work on the buttons, I guess, now and call it a day. Let's see, I also need the same background I had for whatever the rows were. So where are my rows? So I'm going to grab this and let's throw this on the button as well. And what we should probably do is, again, set up a local one. And we should have called the other one button background. So we should have called this one up here button border. I'm not sure what back was supposed to be. So let's change this out and then also do the same thing here. So we'll say var. I'll use the background here. So that way I can update it fairly easily. I guess we should also do the same thing here for, see if it'll figure it out. Button, no. Button color, accent, there we go, okay. So basically by setting these things as custom variables, we can just change the variables and everything else will update for us, which is typically how I like to do stuff. And I think that should work. Okay, cool. Let's also have font weight here. Medium, I think on all these. And I don't know what we should do for font size for some of these, but that's okay. So let's come in here. Excuse me. Let's see, we've got classes here. Let's just take the data update and just use this instead. So, well, now we're going to need... Yeah, let's use the classes. So I'll say if I either have minus or if I have plus, I think that's what I called them. I guess on either of these, I'm going to set the button background to transparent, because I'm going to use the outer thing for it instead. Oops. I misspelled that. So background, thank you for solving that issue. And then I'll probably also take the border, do the same thing. So I'll get rid of those because I'll apply those using something else. All right, I think that should work. Let's also take our inputs while we're at it, have our font inherited as well from the body. And then I'm going to, can I display grid this thing? Place items center. And then let's add some padding width. That will work. Small, something like that. And then we'll do text align center, which is probably all I had to do in the first place. No? How do I get this thing? Oh, it's because this little up and down arrow thing. Remove up and down arrow input number. There we go. Get out of here. Okay, cool. What else do I need to do? Here, let's have the border be none. And then we'll have a border right. This will be 1 pixel solid. Sure. Let's see what that does. And then we'll do the same thing for border left. And then let's take this whole thing, which is a counter button thing. I guess I'll come up above here. Counter button. And here we'll have this whole thing, I think, take on a lot of the properties of this bigger one. So maybe I should also just do this. Oh boy, that could have been better. So let's just copy it instead. So let me grab the padding here. And I guess the border radius is all I really need. And then all right, and then I'm also going to do display flex. Align item center is fine. Border radius, border 2. Okay, and then here I want to change this up with like maybe a muted color. Why is this thing not showing? Counter button. Border 2 pixels. Oh, HSL. And I also don't really want padding on this at all. All right, and then we'll do a max width. Fit content. Like that. I think that should work. Okay, cool. Padding 0 should already have it on it, so. So instead of transparent on these upper sections, let's see, where's that at? Border none. Why is there space there? Am I going crazy? There's definitely some space. I don't know. We'll back out of this thing. Why is there space? Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. Let's also change this to, we don't need to set a width on this, but what I can do is counter button. What if I do this as display grid? And then I do grid, man, what is going on? Grid template columns. I do repeat, oops. 3 and 1 FR. That should work. And then we'll do like, now it's gonna take that whole section. So let's do max width of like 10 rem. Why is that doing that? Well, let's go back because that's obviously not the right move here. I feel like this should be, but whatever. Let's do this. Come back to my input. I'll set a max width on here, like 4 rem, and call that a day. Okay. How about that? I think I also want the font size here. We haven't really done font size things, but do like 1.2 rem. Okay, cool. We should probably also remove that. So let's see, when we're focus, I want the outline to be transparent so that screen readers still have access to it if they need it. Semicolon expected. Oh. That's why. So I don't think I need that. Yeah, I do. Okay, so that's at least changeable. And I should probably also update this input here to have like a max. And maybe this would be like 10 or something, and a min to be 0. This is what I should have done to start with. And then I could use a step here to be 1. And now they can only go up by like 1 or 2. I should have probably also restyled those buttons just to use the native ones. I don't know what I'm doing here today. Okay, let's just get this thing semi looking the right way, and then I'll probably call it a day because I got to get going. Let's see. Buy now. Okay, so we're going to take the cart button and split that up. But let's also take the CTA here and do amazing things that we can write home about. We're going to say display flex. Gap. Man, I don't. Okay, I think that works by now for something. What is this thing called? What weird music we have going right now. Let's take this add to cart class. I don't even know where my buttons are anymore. Now we're just making stuff up. All right, let's go down here. Let's do display flex and align item center. That's fine. Gap, small, whatever, doesn't really matter. And then I'm going to take the first child. Yeah, first child. And I'm going to take a border right. And this is going to probably be something like this, maybe even. Let's see. 1 pixel solid. That could have gone a whole lot better than it did as far as things go. Let's see what that is. Not what I want. We'll say shrink. Flex shrink. Sorry, tailwind. Flex shrink of 0. Come on. There we go. Yeah, I think that's about right. So this right here, how do we want to handle this? Let's do something crazy since we're already, who knows what we're doing today anyhow. Let's just do this. And then I'm going to take the before. Yeah. And we're going to add, no, get out of here. Left or do right. 0. Height. We're going to do like 200%. It's going to be insane. And then we're going to have a border, or no. What do I want? I want the width to be like 2 pixels. We're going to do a before pseudo element, and we're going to have the background color be like blue. There we go. Height is like 400%. It's crazy amounts. And then we're going to go up like 100%. 120%. This is not the way you should do this, kids. And then we're going to go right, negative. Why is this thing weird? This should be on the right side of this section. Oh, it's not accounting for the gap. Ooh. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to do some little calculation while we're at it. So we're going to do, or take var space medium. Is that what the gap is? What's the gap here? It's space small. We're going to divide this by 2. Nope, other way. Oh, and then, yeah, and then we're going to multiply all this by -1 to go the opposite way. Yeah, look at that. Okay, now all we have to do is, what am I doing? We're going to do overflow hidden. You know, if you can't get out of it, just get really into it. All right, here we go. Oh, yes. All right, we're going to change this. We're going to make this thing so versatile. You watch this. This absolute hack is going to be incredible. So we're going to say button gap. And then we're going to set this to medium. Then we're going to use the button gap here. So we're going to go button gap. I don't know who this video is for exactly, but I hope it's for for everyone listening. So now we can use this. What did I mess up? Oh no. Did I get rid of an extra parentheses? Yeah, so now we can just change this right here. If we change this to like large, everything just spaces out perfectly for us. Cool. Okay, I think that works. Overflow hidden. We're going to call that mostly good. I don't know. Okay, so let's do a couple final things here. Let's at least get this thing set right. Where's the prototype? Oh, where's the? Can I like copy this thing as CSS or something? Copy properties. That's not what I want. I forget how to even do half the stuff. Let's see, dev. That's what I want. Click dev mode. I got it. Background gradient. So we're gonna have this thing be a circle, which I think we just called circle. Oh, that could have gone so much better than it did. We're gonna say height, width and height are gonna be like 100 pixels. I have no idea. That's way too big. 50 pixels. All right, where's my circle thing? Product 3D. I'm assuming this would be some kind of button. Display flex. Align items. Center. Justify content center. Nope. Gap. Space. Probably small at best. Extra small. All right, man, this was not the most enjoyable morning, but I did say at the beginning I was taking the day off, and maybe this is just proof that I needed to, because this should not have been this hard. I didn't even get the circles back here, but I do need to go. So yeah, hope you have a great day. Thanks for following along. Sorry for the chaos that was this morning, but Sundays are just days, and so hopefully you enjoyed it all the same. All right, I will catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Happy coding.